Welcome to the Meaningful Mediation Podcast, the place where leading lawyers and negotiators share their best tips and strategies for mediation and negotiation. I'm your host, Patrick Russell, a full-time Florida mediator and lawyer. My goal is to help you have an effective and meaningful mediation. Each episode will provide you with real-world strategies and tips to help you negotiate and mediate with confidence. Let's get to it.
There's so many things that are unique about mediation when you're looking at midpoints and you're looking at brackets, and then you're looking at midpoints of midpoints, then you're looking at the midpoint of the midpoint of the midpoint. It's like there's a lot of weird psychology that goes along with it. But how can you both try to quickly get to your number without affecting that psychology? And that's the reason, like you say, like, why don't people do it? Because I think it will affect the psychology. And I think that part of the psychology of all of this, and I've seen it, and I'll tell you another example that just from my experience, but the psychology of it taking a long time is necessary. I think it's necessary. And here's why I think it's necessary, is that I've seen in my experience that I think the adjusters on the other side will say, why did you move so fast? Why did you take this step and not take this intermediate step? Or why didn't you take this step? And I think that's what needs to be done for business purposes. I think they just need to know. Why did you pay them the full amount? Why did you pay them your full authority? Show me. And again, I don't know if this is true or not. I think just from my experience, it's true.
Show me the progress.
Show me the progress. You know it better than I do because you've worked on the defense side. You know what I mean? Like show me what the negotiation was. Because if the attorney or the adjuster goes to their supervisor and says, well, we came with authority at $100,000 and, our first move was 25 and then we went to 95, they're going to be in big trouble. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think
there has to be, they're more of a linear process on that side.
Yeah.
Processes and procedures.
Yeah. But I also want to see it on my side. I think that's important, especially even with the attorneys in my office. I try to go to almost all mediations. And if I'm not at the mediation, the attorneys are reaching out to me during the mediation to get my thoughts on what the next move is. And when you have a really good mediator, you can kind of loop them in and kind of get their feeling on what a good next move would be. I think there's a process to it, and it can't be rushed. It's a dance. It's an art.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
There are other folks that will disagree with you and think that mediation takes too long, and they find it frustrating. So as a mediator, often you're in between those two opposing sides.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to hear from your perspective, and that's why I also interview people on the other side. And the whole idea is to try to learn together how we can kind of reconcile those positions, if at all.
Does the other side feel like it takes too long, or do they generally feel like that's just the process? They have to go through the process.
It depends. Everybody's different. So there are different lawyers that are a little more impatient, let's say, and some that are, more realists and follow your same line of logic. So, but it's interesting. Yeah. There's different buckets for different lawyers.
Yeah, and listen, you could get why get frustrated at that? If you set aside 3 hours, there are things I get frustrated about at mediation, for sure. We recently had a mediation where, and again, it's like my side could be guilty of this also, but it's like the opening statement, each side takes an hour long. Then you have an hour left to try to mediate, you know what I mean, and try to get the case resolved. You just can't do that. Everyone knows what the case is. If you put your few points out there, take 15 minutes to do your opening or 20 minutes. There's also the psychology for the client. They want to be able to see, hey, I want to see my lawyer in action. I want to see, you're ready to present. Let's see you present. And then they get to listen to the other side. But I've had cases where people have taken forever, and then you have a half hour to try to get the case resolved, and you're rushing, and the rush will never get it done. So there are things that are frustrating about the process, but I think, and maybe I'm contradicting myself from what I said earlier today, I don't think I am. I think for a long time, I did not like mediation. I thought it was the step to trial, and that's for a very, very long time. I never thought about mediation because I knew I was going to trial. It was like mediation is just one step, and it's
check the box,
check the box, and go. As I've gotten older and more mature, and I think being a business owner, working on all types of cases, I've begun to appreciate mediation a lot more. And 99% of the time, I'm going to do everything I can to try to get the case resolved at mediation. And it's not like me, like, I don't think cases don't settle at mediation for me lack of trying. Unless it's a case I just say, I don't care, like they're nowhere near our stratosphere. We're going to trial. I'm going to go in with an open mind that I want to try to get this done. I'll know quickly, or not quickly, I'll know in a couple hours whether or not we're anywhere near of getting it done at mediation. But I've learned to appreciate it more. I think it's a good space. I think it's a great tool.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Meaningful Mediation Podcast. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Additional episodes can be found on YouTube and your favorite podcast channels. Until next time, less dispute, more resolution.